Hey guys, so I'm not sure what is going on, but the app keeps crashing. So we had a wonderful Wellness Wednesday on telephone time today, but the app crashed. So I'm recording it here for you guys now so you can get this great information and this great knowledge. And so welcome to Wellness Wednesday here in my office today. As you guys know, I'm Dr. Linzi. I'm a naturopathic doctor right here in Iron River, and I specialize in helping people restore their life and revitalize their life, right? And so always our little disclaimer is that anything we talk about is for the purpose of general health support, not intended to treat or cure disease. Always check in with your primary care provider before making any changes. And so last episode, we talked about, I had asked everyone what is the number one reason why people don't succeed. And really after studying success patterns and working with hundreds of patients and walking through my own journey, I actually found 4 core reasons for why people don't succeed. And when we understand these, everything starts to make sense. So be sure to check that out. You can check out the recording on my YouTube channel, Dr.Linzi ND. And of course, that's Linzi. You guys can check that out. And so today I wanted to talk about a question that I had asked earlier this week, which is, have you ever heard the saying, begin with the end in mind, right? And I loved so many of your answers. They were so good because at its core, it means knowing where you're going before you start, right? So I want to ask you this. Another question I had asked was, have you ever tried something for weight loss that worked until it didn't? Because for most people, the answer is yes. Diet, supplements, and even now GLP-1 and peptides. And here's the thing, is that those things can work. But the real question is, did you start, or are you willing to start with the end in mind, or just hoping that you're going to do this thing and that it works out, right? And so I wanted to share something that honestly kind of shocked me this past week, because I had 3 people who I didn't know reach out asking for help after they ordered some peptides online. And what was crazy is what they were dealing with is feeling terrible. They were having side effects. They were confused about what was happening in their body or what was going on. And what really stood out to me is that when I was having a conversation with them, they couldn't tell me what they were actually taking, what the dosage was, what it was compounded with, and if it was tested safe. In other words, third-party tested, certificate of analysis. Was it from a 503A compounding pharmacy? Or they definitely couldn't tell me what the game plan was. And the thing is I just sat there thinking, I try not to judge and meet patients or clients like where they're at. But you guys, this is crazy because it got me thinking people are literally injecting things into their body without even knowing what they are. At least with supplements, even if you're getting them from Walmart and it says it's whatever, but really it's catnip or who knows what, at least you got a chance for your GI system and your liver to help you out and help detoxify and process it. But this you're injecting right in. And so what is it compounded with? People don't realize that if you're not getting it from your primary care doctor and it's coming directly from the pharmaceutical company, when you order it from these, like, for example, if you're doing the microdose, you are getting it compounded from a compounded pharmacy, which means it's compounded with something. So is that B12? Is that glycine? Is that some random magic juice from China that you don't even know what's in there and it's contaminated? Like, this is a big deal. Why was that these people that reaching out to me having such horrible symptoms at such a small dose? Was it third-party tested? Was it actually legitimate? And this all helped me realize too that this is what happens when people don't begin with the end in mind. Because right now I'm seeing this explode. Like, people are starting GLP-1s and peptides with no long-term plan, no timeline, no exit strategy, and not even really knowing where they're getting it from or if it's legitimate. And now we've got 2 extremes going on. We've got the primary route, which is originally what I was, concerned about when I first started sharing about this, and why I created the total health restoration, was because the primary route, often with insurance coverage, is dealing with these super high doses, minimal or zero guidance, horrible side effects, just not great for our body. But now what I feel is going on is we have like the wild west of peptides, is what I'm calling it, where people are literally ordering the cheapest thing they can find online, following some influencer, TikTok person, someone on Instagram, guessing on dosing and even what they're taking, and doing this all with zero oversight. And again, with no end in mind. And so I want to talk about why this matters in a really simple way. So GLP-1s and peptides, because GLP-1 is a peptide, and then there's all sorts of different peptides out there that we can use, right? But whatever we're using, the GLP-1 or different peptides, they work by signaling in our body. And especially with the GLP-1s, they're working with our hormones and our metabolism, right? So for example, the GLP-1 is slowing digestion, reducing appetite, helping regulate your blood sugar, signaling fullness to the brain, helping with the addictive craving tendencies by helping dealing with dopamine, and all super powerful and exciting. But what most people don't understand is that your body adapts. So if you don't fix what's underneath, which is blood sugar imbalances, inflammation, hormonal chaos, especially cortisol, metabolic dysfunction, nervous system dysregulation, if you're not addressing any of those things, what you're doing is just overriding your body temporarily, and eventually the body compensates. And that's why people will plateau, need higher doses, or regain the weight when they stop, because again, they never had the end in mind. They only focused on starting, not sustaining. And so the part that I really want everybody to hear is that peptides are tools. They are not the solution. So if there's no exit plan, there's no real plan. And if you don't fix the root, you're not progressing. You're not seeing progress, true progress. You're literally renting your results. And it's just a matter of time. And you guys, this isn't specific to GLP-1s. This is with anything, like I mentioned, people who do diets or try different supplements, any of those things, GLP-1s, it's you run the risk of just as soon as you stop, it comes back on. So when you stop, everything comes back, and now you're stuck thinking, well, I guess, do I need to stay on this forever? Because you're thinking, well, I feel like it's working. I'm losing weight, just because you're pretty much starving yourself and not eating. And you see some changes, but your body hasn't actually changed underneath. And so that's when you stop, everything comes back, and you're thinking, okay, like I just mentioned, so what? I have to be on this forever? And this is exactly what happens when you start something without knowing how it's going to end or what the end result is. And what drives me nuts is people think they're saving money by finding the cheapest peptide online and not investing in the proper guidance or the support. And now let's say they're 90 days in, you haven't changed anything with your life. And what? You have to keep taking the peptide to keep the results, because you are actually worse off metabolically now because you've lost muscle and you've changed nothing. You've just starved yourself. So you're also nutrient deficient now. So did you save money? Like in this situation, one of the people that had reached out to me, like I was mentioning, she spent, I don't know, was it $500 or $600 for 90 days of these peptides? And then she didn't really know where she was getting them from, what they were compounded with. And she was at like the smallest dose I've ever seen, like a micro dose. And she was getting these horrible symptoms and side effects. And I'm like, okay, is this third party tested? Do you know what's actually in here? What is it compounded with? And she's like, oh, well, they said there's no additives. Well, no, it has to be compounded with something. There may be no additives, but what is it compounded with? Where is this coming from? And no idea. So did that person really save money, or now did they just throw $600 away because now they can't even take it because they don't even know what they're taking? And when they do take it, they are paralyzed by horrible symptoms, so they're not going to take it, where if they just would have done it with guidance to begin with, they would be fully supported and be well on their way to feeling better. So I feel like it's one of those things like the quick fix, where's the cheapest I can get it, with no plan, no oversight, no support, and it doesn't end up saving you money, where if you invest in yourself from the beginning, do it the right way, and there's an end in sight, you use it as a tool, as an accelerator, you get the results you want, then you are able to sustain them and you don't need it anymore. You know, and this is what is so different with what I'm doing with Total Health Restoration System that you guys hear me talk about, because we do begin with the end in mind. We're not just asking how do we lose weight, we're asking how do we create a body that can maintain this without relying on something forever. So instead of just suppressing your appetite, starving, and forcing weight loss, we focus on reducing inflammation, rebalancing hormones, repairing metabolism, regulating the nervous system. We're literally creating an internal environment where the body can function the way it was designed to. We are creating the conditions for health so that your body can actually heal and you can be better off as you come off of them. So, you know, if and when the peptides are used as a tool, they are strategic, they are being properly dosed, the highest quality and purity, monitored, and temporary, because we already know the goal. The goal, beginning with the end in mind, is to create the conditions for health so that the body can work on its own. So we're not supposed to have to take these injections forever. They help us get to our results, to our goal, and then we don't need them anymore because we want our body. Our body has this innate ability to heal. It knows how to heal. Sometimes we need to get out of the way, or we need to add in a supportive tool, or we need to create the conditions with the habits and the lifestyle so that the body can do what it was designed to do. Not just be on this peptide forever with no end in sight and getting it from and following some influencer who doesn't know anything about physiology and actually what's going on with your body and healing. You guys, you know, you have to invest in yourself, you know what I mean? And not just do it haphazardly. I just feel really strongly about this because I truly believe that women, well, and men too, but a lot more women doing this deserve better than just guessing about their health. They deserve a plan, a strategy, an end goal, not just something that works for now. And so I want to leave you with this. If a friend or family member told you that they were ordering random peptides online with no guidance, what would you say to them? Because now you understand something that most people don't. If you don't begin with the end in mind, you often end up right back where you started. And that's exactly what we don't want. And that's exactly what we are wanting to change. And so I just feel like that is so important. And when we know better, we can do better. And so if you invest in your health with proper guidance and doing it the right way, is it more upfront? Yes. But does it likely save you long term? Absolutely. And you're better off metabolically. This is about longevity and your health and creating the lifestyle that is sustainable. So this isn't this hard thing or things just come back. Like you want to create lasting change, and this can be a tool that helps, a tool. But we have to do the work. We have to create the habits. You have to have proper guidance. We can't just find the cheapest thing online, stuff coming from China, India. You don't know what it is. You guys, it's got to be third-party tested. It's got to have a COA, certificate of analysis, and it needs to be from a 503A compounding pharmacy. So you are getting legit stuff here, guys. You are injecting this into your body. You don't want to be messing around. Okay, that's my soapbox. So, if you'd like to learn more about this and my approach, you're more than welcome to reach out. You can reach out at 906-829-0500. You can call or text that number. You can also email info@drlinzi.com. That's info@drlinzi.com. You can also go to drlinzi.com, check out the page where I talk about total health restoration. So that's drlinzi.com, and just check it out. And I want to thank you guys for tuning in and for listening. And I hope that today's episode encouraged you to explore new ways for healing and helped you remind you that healing is truly possible and that it may take a little more work up front, but you're going to feel so much better, and you're not just trying to do the quick fix like so many people are doing. And I encourage you to make creating the conditions for health a priority in your life and to keep supporting that incredible body of yours. And I encourage you to trust your body, to trust nature, and to trust the incredible wisdom God built into your design, right? So happy Wellness Wednesday. Be sure to reach out with any questions, and you guys have a great rest of